care for your old man? No dead bodies for Dad tonight. Madam, you're on.
If you care about movies, you know the name Quentin Tarantino. One of his movies I feel doesn't get enough love whatsoever. I hear bad things, that it's his worst film. It's hacky, it's hokey. But to me, Grindhouse is fucking awesome.
Chop them off.
How much ammo we got?
Can't get enough of this movie. I watch it all the fucking time. I don't know. When its initial release in 2007, it didn't make a lot. It made like a 700,000 fucking box office, which is pretty disappointing for a Quentin Tarantino movie. And it's like, makes me sad because it's probably one of the best things ever made by humans. Personally, it's a great fucking 70s throwback to brought to 2007. Robert Rodriguez comes back with his buddy, old pal Quentin Tarantino, to make a very fucking amazing, fun experience. It's one of those movies that like you bring your friends, you get fucking drunk. It's fucking hilarious. I find it so funny, even though it's supposed to be a scary, fucking double feature with Planet Terror and Death Proof, with a couple trailers and bullshit in there. It's fucking hilarious. Grindhouse makes me love cinema. It's one of the best things that Quentin Tarantino has done. Just, in his like love letter to 70s throwbacks like Jackie Brown and fucking Kill Bill. Kill Bill is one of my favorites of his, but I think a little bit above it is Death Proof Grindhouse kind of double feature because it's so unique. It's like its own the throwback he gets in this film is so on point. Like with Kill Bill, you can kind of tell he's like anime scenes and like fucking Western mix and shit, but Grindhouse is like pure 70s throwback. And it doesn't feel hokey whatsoever. People will dig on the fucking filters that he puts on it, and it's like, it makes the experience authentic, and it makes it fucking just such a ball to fucking experience. Because like, no one takes those kind of movies seriously, but Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez make it like so elevated, even though it's still in that schlock area where it's like it's stupid, and like, there's tits and ass everywhere. It's fucking exploitative, but the way they do it, it's so skillfully done. It's fucking amazing. The double feature had been like dead for fucking 20 years before this movie came out. I mean, they're probably doing it like at small theaters, but the fact that Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez brought this fucking movie like to life in 2007 is fucking shocking to me. It shows that they care. Like a double feature brought to like fucking all the cinemas in America. Like fuck it. Like let's do it. Let's make this long ass fucking movie. Let's make the authentic experience of one of those double features back in the fucking 70s and 80s. Like the trailers of Grindhouse make this movie for me. Like, it's fucking hilarious. Machete is, like, the fucking silliest shit. It's the best way to open this movie. Robert Rodriguez has, like, a fucking... I don't know, he's so in tune with that... just, like, schlock in general. Robert Rodriguez is so in tune with Quentin Tarantino in this movie. Like, they were on their shit. They knew what they wanted. They wanted to bring this Grindhouse experience of, like, the double feature... and like the whole just shebang of like making this like cinema itself come to life. It's crazy. Grindhouse starts off with the Machete trailer, and it's probably the best way to open this movie because it's like you set the tone. It's fucking stupid. It's funny. Robert Rodriguez knows, like he's in tune with Quentin Tarantino. He knows exactly the tone they're going for. It's so like. I have never seen a movie bring this much, like, art to, like, schlock. It's fucking awesome. Like, I would say my favorite trailer in this entire thing is fucking Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving it's so accurate. Like, it feels just, like, straight out of the 70s. It's like, that's, like, I'm so glad it got made into a real movie, because that's, like, all I wanted in my entire life was to have this as Thanksgiving get brought into a real feature. I'm glad Eli Roth did it. It was fucking awesome, honestly. It was modern, but it was still, it felt right. Like it dropped the whole Grindhouse like filter aesthetic, but it still managed to strike a good slasher. Like it honestly was shocking. I wasn't expecting garbage. Like I was like, there's no way Eli Roth, the person who made Knock Knock, like a Death Wish remake, was gonna like pull out of a good horror classic, but he did. Like I don't know how the fuck he did it. He was on his shit. He knew what he wanted from this movie. He was probably passionate about it because everybody wanted to see it. Starting this movie off with Planet Terror was probably the best bet because Death Proof feels like the finale. If it's a little bit slower paced, it's less hokey, but it's not like it's a bad thing. Planet Terror is like, it's like a zombie movie, but like it's like the characters are so fucking like, I don't know, they're heartfelt almost. Like you care. Like the characters are written to be cared about. You know, old movies would like just take that opportunity just to like set them up for like no bullshit reason to have them killed off. You know, there's so much drama in like the cast is fucking epic. Josh Brolin's probably my favorite part of this entire movie. Like, ugh, he's so good. I don't know how. I don't know how. I mean, he was in Since They Dame to Kill For, but I'm so glad this is where like their kind of like relationship flourished. I love his whole like evil doctor aesthetic. It's fucking funny. It's crazy seeing such like a I don't know. I associate Josh Brolin with like serious fucking movies, and seeing him in this is such like a breath of fresh air. It's funny to see him take it so seriously, but the whole situation around it's so like wacky. His wife in the movie is fucking awesome too. I love the scene with him and her. Like he finds like the phones and stuff. I love it. Like I love their like chemistry. It's so like he's so intimidating. Like you feel scared for her. Like she looks genuinely like terrified of him. And his wife, Dr. Block, whatever the hell. She's great. I love her. She's like, I was watching this with a friend. He said she looked like Heather Graham, which was like, oh my god, you're right. Her name's like Marley Shelton or something, but she brings this, like she brings like the wide-eyed, scared kind of character, but you care about her even though she does do some like dumb decisions, like give her kid a fucking gun. But that's like it's supposed to be played for like laughs almost. And like, the little kid is like played by Robert Rodriguez's like actual son, and it's like it's pretty funny. It's he casts his son so he can like basically just kill him. Freddie Rodriguez, I don't know if he's actually related to. I'm assuming he's related to Robert Rodriguez, but he brings this like stoicness to it, where it almost feels like hammy, but you know he brings a good lead presence. Like he's a good lead. I feel he's like his stoic like low tone voice and all that, but he still has like good comedic timing with like the fucking. But you don't. You hit a deer if it's coming towards you, and he just immediately fucking swerves. It's pretty funny. And Rose McGowan playing Cherry Darling. She is like the poster girl of this movie. She's got great charisma. She shows up in Death Proof, which is also pretty fun. You know, bringing the whole like cheap movies back from the 70s with like share actors and like having the double bill and seeing the same actor in like the movie you watch right after. It's pretty funny. Like that's why like Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez like knew exactly what they were doing. Like they grew up with this stuff. They knew what it was like. And Rose McGowan is, you know, the movie opens up with like this whole like strip like go-go scene and like go-go dancer scene, and one of the funnier aspects of this movie is like, you know, Harvey Weinstein is the producer of a lot of, if not most of fucking Quentin Tarantino's movies, and Dimension Pictures I think is like an offshoot of fucking Weinstein Company. And so it's just the one shot with Rose McGowan, like with her legs out, and like she shows Bob Weinstein and Harvey Weinstein. Like that's just like another layer of fucking hilarity. Just to this, like it's so in bad taste, but it's almost funny. It's like, of course the girl go dancing would would have like a big title with his and his brother's name on it. It just fits. Like it's almost like meta. Like you would assume that like in the 70s actresses would have to deal with the fucking Weinstein fucking treatment what they would do to get casted, and it's almost just like a fucking redo of it, like bring it back to 2007 basically. The character relationships are one of the strongest parts of this movie. Like fucking what the El Rey, his name, the Freddy Rodriguez, his relationship with Sherry is actually pretty strong. You feel that chemistry. You feel like they know each other. They have like this long history, and that they Palomita, that name, and all that stuff. It's pretty fun. And the cop, I don't know his name, the cop guy that he's being antagonized by. He's like, "Why'd you carry a gun, El Rey?" Or the fuck. It's pretty well structured, I feel, and seeing like such good characters in a schlock fucking movie makes it almost makes it like the entire thing. Tom Savini shows up as one of the cops. That's pretty fun. Robert Rodriguez and him go way back and all that with Dusk Till Dawn. And fucking it's I almost forgot to mention the fucking Bruce Willis cameo. That's pretty hilarious. Bruce Willis shows up in Sin City, which is fun. So it's nice to see him in this as well. His first appearance is so funny. Like this, like it's a whole dramatic pause to like reveal his face, and then like his first words in the movie is "Where's the shit?" It's such a long pause for him to say that. It's so funny. And the evil doctor guy, he's not evil, but he's like he made the virus that spreads throughout the fucking town. He's fucking funny. His whole gimmick is taking people's testicles, like snipping them out of him. It's so weird. That like the Bruce Willis scene, I feel is like the immediate, like you know what you're in for. It's supposed to be funny. You're supposed to be laughing. It's like a fucking joke almost. Like the movie feels like a joke, but it's like the emotions are like pretty on point for being like a schlock fucking movie. Yeah, the cameo by Fergie, which is the Dr. Block's fucking girlfriend. The friend I was watching this with like a few weeks back. He was like, "Who the fuck is that?" And I just kind of like sat there like not mentioning it until I had to bring it up. I was like, "That's Fergie." And I was like, he started freaking out. It was pretty funny. All the cameos like in all Robert Rodriguez movies are pretty fun. Like Spy Kids and all that, all the Spy Kids series and fucking Sin City. That's so weird. And like the amount of people that like he manages to like get in his movies. They probably want to like have fun. Like his sets seem fun. Like even though like fucking most of them are just like green screens. That's another thing. This is the one movie that I feel like that's not like Desperado and like all that shit. That's like this like it's shot on like a location. Like I'm sure like the fucking hospital's like a set. But that's pretty fun. I like to see Robert Rodriguez deal with actual locations and not like bullshit green screen. Even though like Sin City is great and it's like completely green screen. Yeah, fucking. Once the El Rey Freddy Rodriguez character like intervenes with like the military stuff, it's so funny. Quentin Tarantino shows up as like a fucking cameo. It's like, oh, he's the dude who directs the next movie, dude. It's his character. I feel like that's literally just Quentin Tarantino in real life. it's just like a demanding sexist guy, but I'm just joking. Quentin Tarantino is one of my favorite filmmakers. Like he's he's an inspiration to like just modern cinema. Like he managed to bring that old feel back, but make it his own. Like he writes like all his movies and shit. Like it's pretty admirable to see what he has done in his career. Like I said, I love Kill Bill. Kill Bill is one of my favorite. Like I feel like Kill Bill is one of his most emotionally resonant films. Like I feel like crying at the end of Kill Bill 2. It's like it almost like it's so like dramatic. Like it's not like guns blazing violence. It's like just a really emotional scene between, Kiddo and fucking Bill. It's and then like you see what he does here, and he like in Death Proof, and it's almost like a joke, like it's a play on the 70s kind of deal scripts, where like the characters are kind of shallow. But anyway, his cameo in this movie is hilarious. Like the only time I've ever seen him act is fucking From Dusk Till Dawn in this. Oh, and all his bullshit cameos in his own movies, but it's funny to see him like be intimidating and like it's weird because like in Dusk Till Dawn he's also like a fucking like intimidation psycho. He's like fucking sociopath schizo in that movie, and it's like hearing people say things to him, and he's like just like lets it happen basically. But he gets bested. He gets bested by like Rose McGowan. He's like trying to like rape her basically, and he makes her like dance, and then like Rose McGowan like Cherry like just like it kills him basically, stabbing her like peg leg into his face, and he starts like fucking melting because he's got like I forget what it's called, but like the virus that's in the air. And like he's like his balls start to like his whole cock falls off, and like he's like fuck it, I'm still gonna do it anyway. It's so funny. Quentin Tarantino gets his like fucking he pukes out his guts. It's fucking bizarre. I love that scene. Like that's one of the best practical effects in the entire movie, where he melts and like his like face is like completely just gone, and like he starts vomiting up his weird intestines, and it starts spreading out. It's fucking weird. And that's like all the effects are done by Greg Nicotero, which is fucking great. He's amazing. Like I recently saw the Creep Show and he like all the effects he did in there, and he directed a couple episodes. It's fucking awesome. Like it's great to see him fucking just go all out, like with brains and guts and fucking legs. It's so crazy. Like I miss seeing shit like that in movies. Like you don't like get Greg Nicotero to do your shit. He knows what he's doing, I guess. Like it's like Rose McGowan and like her leg being gone, and like it doesn't even like phase you that it's like an effect. I mean, like there's like the one shot where it's almost like a show off shot where she's like climbing onto the truck after the hospital scene. Like she's like has a peg leg and stuff. It's like supposed to like show off like how like like she doesn't have a fucking leg. I like once El Rey gives her fucking her gun leg, it becomes total nonsense where she's like shooting people with it somehow, and like shooting fucking rockets out of her goddamn leg. It's like, okay, but it's supposed to be stupid. It's fucking fun. It's fun schlock. I can take high art and like enjoy it. Most of Quentin Tarantino's movies, like I would consider like are art films almost. Even though they have their schlock essence in them. I feel like Robert Rodriguez knows exactly what he wants in some of his movies. Like some of his movies are so bad, but even like it makes me iffy like if I love him as a director or not. I love Machete and Machete Kills. Those are like the funnest like retarded movies ever, but he knows it's like stupid. Which it's like in the same vein as Grindhouse, because Machete starts in Grindhouse anyway. So what I'll say about Thanksgiving, about Eli Roth's Thanksgiving, is that he completely abandoned like the whole. This is supposed to be like a '70s movie, but like at least Machete and Machete Kills are pretty. They still kind of stick to that aesthetic with like its stupid fucking like like random nonsense. Well, Mel Gibson showing up in Machete Kills, that's pretty hilarious. And like he says like stars, you know, he's like he like does something with the Mandalorian. I think he's like a producer and like does like a couple episodes. He has like a stupid Star Wars machine, Mel Gibson, and like Machete are riding in it. It's fucking funny. Yeah, I'd recommend Machete Kills. Machete Kills is pretty fun. So once Quentin Tarantino is blown off and like is dead and pukes his epic guts out, they all run out and fucking escape, and like the doctor guy gets his head blown off immediately when he's like, I'm gonna do this epic badass bullshit, and then like he looks out and his head explodes in this amazing Greg Nicotero fashion of fucking gore. It's like, well, that's pretty much like there's no solution for any of this zombie bullshit. We're all fucked. And so they take a helicopter, gonna take it to Mexico, because you know Robert Rodriguez, and like and Josh Brolin makes his last appearance as like a zombie-ridden monster, and like he's about to finally kill his wife who's been cheating on him. Oh God! And then like fucking the deputy or the sheriff from fucking Kill Bill, and I forget his name. He's so good. Like he plays like the Mexican guy in Kill Bill 2. He's like he's such an underrated actor. He's like just like some old guy, and like he's so good. And like in everything I've seen him in, especially Quentin Tarantino movies. Like he's so good. So yeah, he kills Josh Brolin with a fucking 6-shooter, and he like kills him, and he's like, no more dead bodies for Dada tonight, and all that. It's like he shows up in Death Proof, which is pretty funny. I recently had seen the like full cut of Planet Terror, because one of my criticisms of Grindhouse is that it cuts a lot of Death Proof. Death Proof gets like fucked in the editing of the Grindhouse edit. Like my favorite scenes are like gone. It's only in like the can like released like fucking DVD version. So seeing like Michael Parks in fucking in the Death Proof in like a fucking 20 minutes later after the fact that he shoots Josh Brolin and shit. It's pretty fun. I just seeing like, you know, seeing full Death Proof and like that full cut instead of the Grindhouse version, it like part of me just wants to like fucking just shove the full version of Death Proof into the Grindhouse in the Grindhouse experience, because it's like I'll get to it when I fucking talk about Death Proof. But anyway, fucking Planet Terror is just it's fun. It's filled with gore and good characters that you like, that are fun to watch and like have their relationships like play out on screen and everything. And the movie ends with fucking Rose McGowan and fucking Freddy Rodriguez dead, and like he got killed, and he never misses. So he came in her and got her pregnant. So they have a kid and all that. And it ends with them in Mexico, like they said they go to and all that. It's a pretty like heartfelt ending. Like I like the little like guitar music and all that. It's pretty fun to like. It's fun to see such a fucking depraved movie end in like a heartfelt, good way. It's pretty fun. Yeah, Rose McGowan is such a good. I like it. Imagining seeing anyone else in that role, just like makes me want to vomit almost. Because Rose McGowan does like such a good job at like making this character like sympathetic. Like she's like a go-go dancer with a missing leg who shoots fucking missiles out of her leg. It's like who the hell else would like make this as good as it is? Like she puts her heart into this fucking movie. She gives it her all. And you know, Robert Rodriguez fucking pulled out all the stops, made this one of the funnest experiences like ever. Like compared to Death Proof is like a way more like the slow pace of it can turn people off. I love Death Proof, But Planet Terror is just the high octane like nonsense that you wish for like in these kind of like trashy Grindhouse films. So right after the ending of Grindhouse, we get into probably my favorite segment of the fucking movie, or it's like it brings the whole like this is supposed to be a theater 70s throwback experience, or we have these trailers that start happening and like all this like kind of like aesthetic like go eat this food in the lobby kind of bullshit. Like this is like it's in the theater, go eat fucking Mexican food and stuff. Like it's pretty epic. The first trailer is fucking Rob Zombie's fucking segment of woman, werewolf women, or whatever the fuck it's called. And like it's got like his usual fucking his wife in it, the dude in Devil's Rejects, I forget his name, fucking Bill Moseley. And it's them doing like a Nazi exploitation movies which exist for some reason, and like it's pretty it takes the piss out of it and like makes it stupid and like it's pretty funny. I'm surprised. I mean, I'm not surprised, but like I'm surprised that he hasn't done that like as a full movie, or at least like a short or something. I guess this is technically a short, but yeah, SS woman of werewolf woman of the SS or something. What the fuck it's called? It's fucking hilarious. And then we get into fucking like the like almost like Tres Hermanos parody of like Mexican food like in the lobby, and has like this like such a good like aesthetic. It's like of course this would like be playing in like this like fictional like scenario of theater that you're watching it in. And Don't comes up, directed by Edgar Wright, you know, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz and all that, where he does like almost like a European trailer of fucking nonsense. It takes inspiration of like Suspiria and those kind of films like Dario Argento, like like weird fucking movies with like weird sex feels and like just like random white-eyed ghouls and stuff like that, which is, you know, it fits so good. I feel like he does a really good job at like capturing the 70s like just European film. Like his I feel like it's underappreciated. It's probably one of the it's just everything about the trailers of these movies are like it brings it all together. Like it's not, if it was just the two movies, it'd be missing something. If considering that it has these like advertisements and like these little like coming soon like previews for this next movie, like it brings it all together. And the Don't trailer, I feel, is just so fucking on point with the European, like it feels like a random Dario Argento movie that never happened. And then after this, my favorite of it all, fucking Thanksgiving. It's fucking hilarious. I don't know, like Eli Roth knows what he wants. He wants gore, fucking just to like freak you out a bit and like make you laugh. It's so crazy. Like I don't understand why it took so long and why he abandoned the Grindhouse. I don't mind Thanksgiving that recently came out. I don't mind it. It would have been pretty wish fulfillment to see like the 70s Grindhouse aesthetic come back and have it come out in theaters and like have it do it like pretty well. But he decided to make it like a modern remake of that trailer. But that trailer is one of my favorite things in the world. It's like it's so funny. It's like the perfect fucking trailer ever for like a slasher movie that's like total schlock. Fucking Eli Roth getting blown in a car, and like just like the trampoline scene, the whole fucking suiting up, where he's like has like the shovel or whatever the fuck. It's so good. It's such a good idea, and like I'm so glad he got to like put it into this Grindhouse experience. It makes it, for me, it makes the entire movie like the just like if you didn't get it already, like this like immediately like it pinpoint it so good. Like 70s horror is such a good like aesthetic. It like it's trashy. It's like it's fun. It's like almost unnerving how like cheap and like scary it is. It's like the like unhinged like no holds barred like sex violence and stuff. It's so good. You don't see that shit anymore. And he toned this like the sexual like tone of the new movie Thanksgiving 2023 Thanksgiving. He toned it down. There's no knife in the vagina kind of bullshit with the trampoline, but his trailer is like literally makes me want to make movies for myself. Like Eli Roth's trailer of Thanksgiving is so like just inspiring. It's like I want to make something like that fun. It's like it makes me love this entire movie almost. It like because I love Death Proof on its own, but Grindhouse has the Thanksgiving trailer in it, so it makes like fucking the Grindhouse experience one of my favorite things. And after Thanksgiving, we finally get into Death Proof and Quentin Tarantino's feature film of the night.
A new kind of terror is coming at 200 miles per hour.
Ladies, we're gonna have some fun. There are few things as fetching as a bruised ego on a beautiful angel.
So as Planet Terror was like a zombie almost throwback, Death Proof is like a slasher, like Thanksgiving almost, where it's supposed to be a fucking just kind of sleazy, kind of trashy fucking slasher, where the killer is almost like the person you're rooting for almost. But the way Quentin Tarantino like executes this entire movie is pretty smart. He splits it basically down the middle, where the first half of the movie is like what your typical fucking you're here to watch basically the slasher kill these people. Where the second half it becomes almost people don't enjoy this too much, where it becomes like a modern movie almost. Where I mean this is a modern movie. Like it's I mean if you saw this in the theater, it's 2007. You're watching fucking 70s throwback, but by the end of it, it comes full circle where you're watching this modern, like it just blends that feel of 70s and like today's standards of film, and it's just so admirable. I find, I mean, it's easy to say that the first half of this movie of Death Proof is like funner. It's more fun. It's supposed to be. It's more in tune with the rest of the movie, I guess, or it's trashy and the filter is way more hardcore on it, and like the grain and all that. And he's like picking off women, he's stalking them, and I find the movie almost a commentary on those kind of movies. It's like it's supposed to be poking fun at like the fact that these are movies that like where a man it kills women. Like that's basically like most slasher movies. And then the second half is where it reverses and it becomes like almost a progressive fucking like women empowerment film, which I love. Like when people tell me that I don't know, like if someone asks me if to like tell them like a female empowerment film that's not trash, I will say Death Proof, because Death Proof is like the epitome of like female empowerment by the end of it. It's so great. And yeah, so the first half of this movie is your typical this is spooky, it's 70s slasher, but instead of him like killing people with weapons, he has a car. And that's like immediately that's a good idea. Like Tarantino executes this idea with like such precision and like flourish. Like he indulges so much in this first half of the movie where these characters are like there to be picked off anyway, but he gives them so much like intricate like story relationships with like Jungle Julia's this radio host, this girl who's kind of shy but wants to be like into this. She wants to be like almost like swept off her feet by like somebody, and like but the person who sweeps her off her feet is like the slasher, and like the blonde girl who drives in the car, she's almost like your typical like your typical slasher protagonist, and it's all build up to that middle scene of them getting fucking killed, and it's like it's so smart. Like he doesn't just like have these characters be like mean nothing. Like these characters were the people you were like I feel like you care about them. Like they're nice people. They don't deserve to die in this horrific way. They barely talk to this man. Like Stuntman Mike, played by Kurt Russell, who is fucking amazing in this. And it's crazy to see like all these he comes from The Thing, right? Everybody knows him from The Thing, and like John Carpenter films like Big Trouble like Little China, and I was hearing like on like behind the scenes like it's like Eli Roth fucking fanboying out to like be acting next to this horror legend almost, and like it's so good to see like Kurt Russell be the villain, because he's always usually like, the protagonist, and to see him fucking be like the killer and like this like sociopath almost, like this like womanizing sociopath who wants to kill people with his car, and it's like Tarantino adds his own flair by adding like he's a stuntman, like it all revolves around film. Like a lot of the characters are wearing like film T-shirts and shit, just to bring like it. What's great about Death Proof is that like the time is like so blurred. There's posters of like old Italian movies that only like Tarantino would ever know, but there's phones, there's the Alamo Draft House to like just show you that this is not like 1970. This is 2007 basically, and it's so crazy that like, because I find Death Proof so good because it's like basically two movies with what she basically came here for, which is like a true slasher throwback to 1970s horror, and then you get like your modern Tarantino movie by the end half of it, which is what I have to criticize about Grindhouse, like cut, and it's like the Death Proof cut is that like it cuts out one of my favorite scenes, which is like the transition between once he kills these women and then like it becomes like the second group of women. It doesn't introduce them enough. It doesn't introduce them enough into in the Grindhouse cut. Like it starts with them like in the car already talking about when like Mary Elizabeth Winstead's talking about fucking The Rock or whatever. But I love the scene where like it's the liquor store or like the 7-Eleven or whatever the fuck, and like Kurt Russell sees this group of women. He's like, oh, I'm gonna prey on them because they're just like women. Like who gives a fuck? It's like he's so crazy. Like he like because it's a Quentin Tarantino movie. Fucking Rosario Dawson has her like feet at the car, and like Kurt Russell comes out and like fucks with her and like licks his finger and touches her feet to like fuck with her. And he's such an like of its era kind of slasher where he's like a fucking misogynist killer, and you're expecting them to die in the same exact way, but by the end of it you're rooting for the women to like kill this fucker. So after Kurt Russell does his weird fucking feet shit that Quentin Tarantino told him to do, you settle in with these new characters that, the first half has your typical kind of stoner characters, they're wandering the walks of life and like just trying to live. And the second characters are film people, because Tarantino loves his film. They're like stunt people. One of them is an actress. I think Rosario Dawson's an actress or something. And the stunt people are into cars. They want to check out this car that this person is selling, and they want to like test drive it and do some crazy game that they like to do, where they where one of them hangs off the hood of the car, and while the others drives fast. It's called Shitmast, and they're crazy. They're stunt people, whatever, and it's so genius to see just Tarantino shove his like love for movies and be so like up his own ass, but it feels appropriate for this movie, because it's like the first half was like a tribute, and the second half is his own flair, which is basically what every Tarantino movie is, where it's like it's two halves like of 70s stuff that he loves, and like his own, where he likes to write his own like shit. And so fucking they go to this farm and to see this car. They're gonna test drive and like possibly just to exploit him. They like offer up Mary Elizabeth Winstead as like bait. Basically, it's pretty funny. As like, I love her. She's one of my favorite actresses, and like seeing her just like basically as a throwaway character to be like bait for them to steal this car is pretty great. the ending shot, like the last shot of Mary Elizabeth Winstead, is hilarious. Like I don't like Tarantino deciding that's the ending for that character, or you just never see her again. You never find out what the fuck happened to her. It's pretty great. It's just like, well, I guess that's how that ends. And so they finally talk themselves into test driving this car, and they're gonna ship's mast, where they hang off the car hood basically, and Kurt Russell is stalking them during this, and he takes this opportunity to have fun and fuck with them. Basically, he starts to antagonize them with his own car, with his death-proof fucking car, and like rams into this vanishing point car, and he's just such an asshole. He's fucking ramming into them while they're like doing their own like stunt people thing, and it's great to see, because Stuntman Mike is a stuntman, and these women are also stunt women. Like it's pretty smart. It's like it's showing the era of like times have changed. Like women can be stunt people too. Like it's not just you fucking Kurt Russell douche. It's not just you. So these women are just as tough as he could be, and like he's just being a fucking crazy person ramming into them while they're doing their own thing. And once he finally gets bested by getting shot in the arm, because the black lady, I forget her name, she's like basically like the Samuel Jackson of this movie. It's hilarious. Like her dialogue is so funny. She like shoots him because she established that she carries a gun with her at all times, because fucking the world is scary sometimes, So she shoots Kurt Russell in the arm, and he immediately bails, and he's like, I'm out of here, fuck this. And then like there's like this like suspense moment where like Zoe Bell, the stunt person for fucking Uma Thurman in Kill Bill, where she plays herself, which is pretty fun. It's like there's so many layers to the second half that I find so intriguing, where it's like a movie. It's like the second half is like a movie about stunt people and like people who are in film. It's so like meta. It's crazy, and like so Zoe Bell magically is like okay and everything's fine, because they established that earlier in the diner scene, which is like a one shot circling around all four of them, and then you see like Kurt Russell in the background like listening in, and they fucking are like, let's kill this motherfucker, because they're like, we're not taking this shit, we're gonna kill him. And like he's like, Kurt Russell's like crying like a baby because he got shot, and he's like fucking like putting like bourbon in his fucking wound and like screaming. It's such a farce at that point. Like he's so demasculated, and he's like not he's not like at all as intimidating as he was in the first half, because he's been bested by a fucking just like one bullet, and he's like not even like, he's just like, he totally gives in to his fear. He's like just a pussy. and they fucking roll up on him and like crash into his car, and he like hits his face on the steering wheel, and like they fucking like Zoe Bell hits him with like a steel pipe and all that. It's so funny, and they chase him, and this is one of the greatest. Like I mean, like the whole shit mask part is great. Like her Zoe Bell doing her stunts, like her doing her whole stunt thing with her on the fucking car with like no wires or any of that. She's just hanging on for dear life basically, and like she's a professional. She knows what she's doing, and it's so crazy to see her like the high speeds, 2 cars, fucking just it's no CGI or any of that crap. It's just pure fucking cinema, and like the final chase scene in this movie is so good. I can't even like. Maybe though I don't see too many car movies really. I don't see too many chase scenes with cars that are like as like investing and like just like as tense as the one in Death Proof, because it's just it goes on for so long. Like the prior stunt like shit mask scene is like it like ramps you up, and then seeing this chase of the girls chase after Kurt Russell and in his car, it's so fun. It's they like it escalates so quickly. There's like comedic timing with like the scene where it pans out and like it's all silent, and like you hear like just like the whatever the fuck, the oil thing, and like the water, like birds chirping, just like really take you out of it and like show you how ridiculous everything is. And like, it's just like the longest chase scene, and it's done so well. Like I've never seen Quentin Tarantino do such like ambitious actions. Like I mean, like besides Kill Bill, like I've never seen such like car intensity. Like fuck Fast and the Furious and all that. Death Proof takes that that one Death Proof scene where the stunt women are Kurt Russell. That's like one of the funnest experiences I've seen with like cars in a movie. You know, I'm not very familiar with Gone in 60 Seconds and all those like Vanishing Point cars and all that stuff. But just to see Quentin Tarantino bring it to like somebody like me who's, you know, a modern audience, it's pretty great to see him like put full effort into the stunts, car crashes, and like just pure adrenaline that you get from those kind of scenes. And then it fucking just, it's so great. The ending where they finally get him. They fucking just beat the shit out of him with freeze frames and all that. It's so great. And like one of my favorite credit songs of all time, Chick Habit by April March or whatever, like it's so good. It really brings around the fucking like the idea that this is like a female empowerment movie when once finally the women kick his fucking ass and smash his fucking face in. It's like, yeah, he was an asshole. Kurt Russell was a fucking asshole to kill. He's probably done it before. I mean, this like the first half of the movie is probably not the first time he has done it, and it's so great to see him like just get bested by women. It's like it's empowering. I feel empowered. It's like wow. I've never like Quentin Tarantino knows how to like treat his cast and his audience. Like he doesn't treat them like idiots. He doesn't pander to them. He knows exactly what he wants to do. So once Kurt Russell's fucking dead and all that, the movie ends. It leaves you fucking like feeling satisfied and like almost proud to be a part of this experience. Like I feel like a theme of the movie is almost like, at least in the 2 fucking movies that are in the besides the trailers, like the movie is like almost like, because even in Planet Terror, Rose McGowan is like a fucking, she's like a good character, like you care about her. She's not like just like some throwaway like woman character. She's strong. She's fucking, she's like a good hero. Like I think by the end of the movie, she's like a fucking like death machine wielding lady on her leg. It's great. And then by the end of Death Proof, you feel like, yes, I do feel fucking hype, and like they finally killed that motherfucker. It's like almost women empowerment film. It's very bizarre, like considering like the era that this movie is like homaging. they were pretty fucking trashy. You know, they were just trying to get like tits as much as they can in their films. You know, just treating the women like they were like, you know, fucking cannon fodder to be like just to have another kill in your movie. Whereas this Grindhouse, they actually give shit about their female characters. Like, besides fucking Kurt Russell and Death Proof, there's really no. All the guy characters in that movie are a bunch of fuckers. Like Eli Roth and the Kill Bill guy who's like in some Adam Sandler movies, I think. Like he's like he implies rapes like Mary Elizabeth Winstead. It's like it's really just like it's a statement on the 70s Grindhouse films and just like trying to put its own spin on it. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Like, if I could, I would edit the fucking Death Proof Grindhouse cut and just put the full DVD version because I love the scenes that are cut out. The 7-Eleven scene, the fucking striptease scene is like one of the best like stripteases I've ever seen like in film. It's fucking awesome, and like Planet Terror. I feel like Planet Terror, the Grindhouse cut is pretty you know good. Not too much is taken out. There's like a couple scenes that enhance it a little bit. Like there's like a kill that's cut out that I recently didn't even realize was like in there that got cut out, and you know, it's fucking awesome. I love Grindhouse. It's one of my favorites, and I'm like my love for it has been revived with the Thanksgiving, Eli Roth's Thanksgiving coming out recently, and I might do a review for Thanksgiving because that fucking was so good. Like I don't know, it was stupid as fuck, but like it was like exactly what I wanted from Eli Roth. I'm glad he didn't pull any punches. He let it all out. He just had his fun with it. He put his own like zoomer ass take on it. Like it's like people's social media and like it didn't feel forced. Like I felt like he knew what he was talking about. He didn't feel like some old fuck just like not knowing what the hell young kids are doing anymore. It felt right. Like I'm glad Thanksgiving came out as good as it did. It like made me want to show my friends Grindhouse. Because Grindhouse is just such a fun experience with friends, especially. Like, especially if they've never seen it, like, they'll probably have a fucking blast with it. It's so fun. Like, I have so much fun with it every time I see it. Grindhouse is one of the best movies I've ever seen. Like, nothing compares to it, because it's such its own experience. I'm really glad that Thanksgiving got turned into something, and it's, like, putting more light into Grindhouse because that's where it originates from. That's where the love comes from. I was so happy to see fucking Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino be in the special thanks of Thanksgiving. I was like, Eli Roth really does care about, you know, where his origins of this fucking idea came from. They allowed him to show everybody. They allowed him to show his like vision of this weird holiday slasher movie that came to light, but eventually did come to theaters. It's great. Grindhouse is amazing. I love Grindhouse.